Hello, all. Welcome to this another session on Docker, and we'll be discussing about volume and also see some of its practical applications. Make sure that you are understanding this Docker in detail because it is a really very important topic in Docker. So if there is any confusion, if you have any doubt, please drop a, a message in the comments, and I'll definitely try to respond. So uh, volume comes into picture when we want to persist data, right? What do you mean by persisting data? If I have a DB, if I have a database, or if I have some script, or if I'm working with any of the stateful application, where I need to save the client side data from the activities of one session to be used in next session. I need all these in all these formats. I need the data to be saved somewhere, which can be used later, and this is where the volume comes into the rescue. For example, let's quickly see understand this example. Now we have a container, MongoDB container, which is up and running fine, and whatever I write or whatever I do, everything will be stored in virtual file system. Docker stores everything. The entire data is stored in virtual file system. Okay, so it and this virtual file system is active and available only until the container is active. Once we kill the container, the data is gone. For example, here Goku killed the uh, our mascot Gogo killed the container and he has lost everything. But I want to save the data. I don't want that the data or script or anything that I've created, or I need it to be used in future is no more available if I'm killing the container or if the container is crashing. Okay, and this is where the Docker file will come into picture. So we can store data using Docker file in below formats. So we have been using Docker run in several we have been using Docker run so many times, so we know what Docker run does. But this is another the new option of dash v, which we'll be using to tell the Docker CLI will tell the Docker daemon that okay, now we have been using only the virtual file system so far to save the data, but now, from now on we have the user has given us dash v filter, the dash v option as well. That means we need to store the data to some specific path. So these are the three formats in which you can provide you can run the command to tell the Docker daemon that we have to persist the data. The first is the exact physical path. So user test mount data, this is an exact physical path of my machine, okay, where I want to store the data. So this virtual file system path, now when Docker daemon tries to execute the command and perform the activities, it will not just store in this virtual file system, but it will also store the persist the data in this physical path. So even if the container crashes, this this specific part would be gone. War, live, MongoDB data, anything which was present in data in this specific path would be lost. But we will persist the entire whatever we stored in was there in data would be present in this data, and we can reuse it. And whenever we launch the container again, okay, same, like for example MongoDB, if we launch it again, could be different container, not necessarily if I'm trying to launch different container, it will still have the entire data. We can still load everything which is present in data in our newly created container. Okay, so this is the one where we are actually giving the physical path. In this case, docker run dash v, we are just giving the option of dash v. We're just telling the Docker daemon that okay, we have to persist the data. We are not providing the exact path, or we are not giving any other details. So Docker understands that okay, for me as a user, I want to store the data, but I haven't defined any path. So it will create its own volume, and it will mount, or it will persist everything, all the data in that specific in that specific volume. Okay, and then the third one is where this can be considered as anonymous mounting. In here we are actually creating a volume, name of the volume. So now docker run dash v, and we are actually creating a volume, and we are creating that specific. We are mapping this physical virtual we are mapping virtual file system to this volume which we have created. Okay, so let's quickly jump to this. Okay, and and in this specific thing, docker run dash v, we would need to create a new volume. Okay, so let's try to understand how can we use volume create volume create instruction. But before that, we need to understand first how can we, what all different options do we have with Docker volume. So we have Docker volume, we have create, we have inspect, we have ls, we have prune, and we have rm. Okay, so what Docker volume, uh, before creating, let's see how many volume do we have. I already have, so I have 3, 4, 5, 6. There are six uh, volumes created by the Docker itself, which we saw in here. In this for this these are this are the this is a case where we haven't if I don't give any specified path or name, this will create its own volume, and the volume would look like this, whereas these three are the volumes which I have created, which we checked here where name of the volume was asked. So this is the case where we can provide any of the three volume names to that specific docker dash v format. So docker volume ls will list out all the volumes which are available in your machine, and then we can check any of the volumes. Sorry, inspect. Okay, and we can inspect and see what is the mount point, where exactly this is the part where this volume has been mounted. Okay, this is the part of your docker where this volume has been mounted right now. Okay, in the virtual file system. let's try to quickly create let's try to quickly see how we can create a volume. So we can docker volume create uh, removal. Okay, so we have created a volume with the create command. Sorry. Okay, so you can see here that the docker volume demo volume is the new volume that we have created just now. Now let's try to understand how can we how do we use um, docker volume command docker sorry docker run dash it dash name all test1 dash v pwd into. Okay, so now this command, what this command will do is docker run. We know dash it is we know that it will take us to then interactive environment, and then dash d is we are running this container in detached mode, that it will be running in background, and then dash name is the name of the container that we are providing the name of the container, and dash v is the part which comes into picture. So if you see here the format of dash v, after that we have to provide the path where we want to store the data. So pwd is the Unix command where it will take the current it will take the current area's path, and then it will go to the target directory, and dash slash app is the is the area, is the directory where we are where Ubuntu, whatever Ubuntu will store, will get will be persisted in this specific path. Okay, so now after creating Ubuntu, if I am trying to run the container, and I go to this app directory of this Ubuntu, and then try to create any file, and then I delete the file, or if I kill the container, the whatever file that I created in app will still be persisted in target. Okay, and then if I'm creating any new container of this same Ubuntu, it will be available in that new instance of that container. Let's try to say it's kind of a lot of theoretical knowledge. Let's do it practically. Okay, so now I have I'm running this Ubuntu. Okay, this is the new image that we have run. Okay, now let's try to enter into this Ubuntu by itb40. Sorry, itbnsh. What, something is going wrong? Sorry. Okay, so we are into right now in bash shell, in corn shell. Okay, and this is we are inside the container of Ubuntu, and we are inside in Ubuntu. um, let's go to the directory cd app. So I'm inside the cd app directory, and let's quickly try to create one file. Hi, we are creating a file. Okay, test file. Okay, so we have created a test underscore file txt inside Ubuntu app directory. I am out of this machine now. If I let's try to run another Docker Ubuntu container. Okay, so now we are running another volume container, volume test 2. Okay, and if we see, we have the another volume container, a Ubuntu container up and running fine. Let's try to enter this container now. Docker exec it 42e. Sorry, we did not provide the command. So we are inside the shell of the container. Let's go to app. You see, this is the exact same file which we created in another container, is being persisted in this another container as well, because we have mapped both the containers to volume, to only one volume, which is this path. So n number, even if I'm creating if I'm creating, for example, let's go inside this shell again, and in cd app let's try to create another file. This is second file, test file second.txt, and I exit. And this, let's try to again enter the old, and you see text file, the second, the one which we created in another container is also present in this container as well. So this is happening, this was possible because we have mapped both the containers to one volume. So if even if I'm right now creating another uh, one more container, and I map it with this same volume, all the data which we have in this specific path will be persisted in that new container as well, and we can create n number of we can scale to n number of containers, and all the containers will share the same memory among them. This was one example which clearly told you how volumes can be used to purchase data. But let's try to try to use Jenkins and understand in furthermore details how essential this volume concept is. So I'll I'll if you see Docker PS, if you see I've already run uh, Jenkins one instance. Okay, in this I will need to, this is the, yes, okay, so this is the this is the command that I had run. So this is the command that I had run, docker run dash d, and then name of my container. Now here I'm using the other format, the third type, where which said docker run dash v, name of the volume, and then the path, and the path where the container is actually persisting the data in virtual file system, which is your temporary memory. So we are checking the third example. So in here I have already defined, I have already created uh, docker volume ls, docker volume ls, sorry, docker volume ls. If you see here, my volume 1 was already created with the same format of docker volume create and then my volume 1. This was the same way which we saw in the very first as the very first command to create volume. Um, Now I'm trying to map this the created volume this var with this var Jenkins home path. Now to understand where is Jenkins actually writing the data, we need to go to the, let's quickly go to Docker Hub and understand